I want to start recording myself and like how I feel, and yeah, just basically how I'm feeling right now. Even though I may not ever post these videos or anything, it's just for me, like my records only, um of how I feel and how I just want to be able to go back to this moment, right? So a little backtrack, a little story is how like 20 I was in a relationship with a woman for 5 years, and for some time I was thinking it was a great time, and I honestly, it was my first relationship with a woman. I didn't know what I was really getting into. Like, yes, I had adventured with women before, but like it wasn't anything like a relationship. I got into it because I thought women would be different. I was just curious of what could happen. Maybe it could be good, That's what I thought. And honestly, I prayed so much. After some time, I prayed so much to God to get me out of that situation. I felt like I was stuck. I felt like there was something holding me there. Like I felt like my life was just going in a loop, like in a little cycle, and I just couldn't find the way out of it. That's how I felt. And when I finally got out, when I finally was able to like find the way out, because I didn't have the resources, right? Because my mom doesn't live here. My father has a whole other wife and a whole other life, and like my brothers have their families. Like I'm the only one that's like by yourself, just by yourself. And I felt like I didn't have the resources in order to like be able to get out of there. Like I didn't have the right job. I didn't have no money saved. I didn't have absolutely anything. And I guess to get out of there, to get out of that situation, it was hard. It was a really hard moment for me. When I finally was able to move out, things happened so crazy. Like I had spoken to some lady about me moving into her house in Marlboro, Massachusetts. Me moving into her house, and it was like a studio, and it was gonna be like a shared bathroom situation, and like I was able to do it because she was okay in accepting me with my dog. Excuse me. That was the most important thing for me being accepted by my dog. Like me being accepted with my dog, I'm sorry. So anyway, that didn't work out. The lady never answered. The lady she just never answered. I had scheduled a viewing of the apartment with her, and she just never answered me. And I was really sad. I cried so much. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I had to get out of where I was at because I had to turn in the apartment. We were no longer gonna be staying in that apartment. Like everybody was going in their separate ways. She was going a different way. I was going a different way. And it ended up being so awesome, like so great, that I moved to the basement downstairs of my apartment, and that worked out. The only thing that it was expensive. It was really expensive. It was like $1,500, right? It was $1,500 for just me. Everything was included though, which was manageable. But then I felt like I needed a easier way of doing things, so I had my cousin move in with me, and they did raise our rent $500 more, so it ended up being $2,000. So she would pay $1,000, I would pay $1,000. That happened for like a good 6 months, and I should have been better prepared. I was working, and I should have been saving up for that moment. But I thought, we were gonna be living there for some time. That's what I thought. I thought I wanted to work on moving out and moving out to a house of mine. Like, I didn't think that I was gonna have to move again, rent again, do everything all again. Anyway, 6 months later, that didn't work out. My cousin moved elsewhere, I moved elsewhere, and it just didn't. Everybody had to go their own separate ways. Or I could have stayed. I just needed to find a roommate, and at that time I just didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to deal with roommates and having to find someone, and God forbid that they don't come up with their part of the rent and I'm stuck in a situation. And I have a dog. You know, not a lot of people like dogs, and not a lot of people get along with dogs, and my dog's very hyper, very energetic, and I just didn't know how that was gonna work, and I worked very long hours. So I ended up moving, and it was like the first apartment that I saw, and it was expensive. It was out of my reach. But somehow the girl that showed me the apartment said that you didn't have to pay everything all at once. That gave me relief. And I went and I applied for the apartment. I didn't have the money for the apartment. I didn't have anything for the apartment. I just applied, just see if I get approved. When I sent her the documentation and everything, and like the date that I want to move in by and everything else, I just had like a date out of my mind. Like, I didn't have like an exact plan of what I was gonna do. When she tells me that I was approved, I cried so much. I thank God. I was like, oh my gosh, because I wanted to move back closer to family, you know. I was living an hour away from home. I was by myself, and there was a lot of times there where I felt really lonely, and gosh, I'm crying. I felt really lonely, and I just didn't know what to do. So I didn't want to be alone anymore. I just wanted to be closer to family. So the apartment that I found and that I was approved for was in Methuen, closer to my brothers. So I was so thankful. And then since I had moved in on the 15th, it was like a prorated rent, and it was like $800 that I had to pay for those first 15 days. It's we're going into another month now. Like, the whole month of January passed, and now we're going into February, and I still haven't paid January. I still haven't paid the month of January, and now we're going into February. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I ended up leaving the job thinking that I was gonna go into another job, and that job didn't work out. So now I'm jobless, and I'm doing like DoorDashes and things like that. And it's so crazy how things happen, because I had the money, or I was missing only like $300 of my rent. I was almost there. And then all of a sudden I get this transaction of almost $500 taken out of my account. And it's not fraud or anything. I scheduled the payment. I just completely forgot all about this payment. And that completely devastated me. On top of that, I had like my car payments and things that I had to take care of, which took another almost $400. So that's like a huge chunk taken out of that rent money that I had put together. And now I'm back to like the start, like trying to pay the month of January, and we're going into February, and I don't know how I'm gonna do this. And I have faith that if God allowed me to move back closer to family, I'm thinking this had to happen because he wanted it to. And I want to stay positive in the fact that, like, I'm gonna see the light. I'm gonna see how God is gonna make this happen for me, you know, or how I'm gonna make this happen. I want to do this with God. I want to do this with God, really. And I don't know what is it that I'm gonna do. I don't know what is it that I'm gonna do. I pray that I see some type of light, some type of way out, because I don't have anywhere to turn to right now. I don't have anywhere to turn to. My mom helped me a lot. I'm so grateful for her. My mom helped me so much to be able to like move and actually get the apartment, because I'm telling you, I didn't have the funds for it. So I'm finally back here, and now I'm trying to find this way of how I'm gonna do this, and I don't really know. And I'm just praying that God shows me the way. I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to stay faithful. I'm just trying to stay just positive overall. And I just wanted to share that. I just wanted to share that God does work, and maybe we just need a little bit more patience, and maybe, I don't know, I guess I'm making this video just I saw this video of this girl, and she had all the faith in the world, and like God makes these things happen for people, and like sometimes it's greater than what you ever imagined. And I guess that's what I'm waiting for. I guess that's what I'm looking for, and this is greater than what I ever imagined. But like, I don't want it to stop here. I want to be able to grow more. There's so much, and I feel like I have so much potential to do so much, and I just feel like stuck. And I'm gonna talk about this because so one thing that I feel like God has been calling me to do is stop smoking. I smoke weed, and I've been decreasing the amount that I've been smoking, and I'm gonna cut it off completely, because I feel like that's something that I need to stop doing in order for my life to get better. Like, that's what I feel God is calling me to do, to stop doing this for your life to be like this. You get what I mean? And you got to do what you got to do. You got to be obedient. That's what I'm working on this year. This year I'm working on discipline, obedience, and just focusing on what is it that I have to do, on focusing on being a better version of myself, eating healthier, going to the gym, all of these things I want to put into my life, into my daily life. And that's really what I wanted to share today, and I pray that all of you are doing well, and thank you for listening.